What did you say? What did you say, little lighting chick?
What is Piggly Wiggly and Squiggly's adventure today?
I am so glad you asked, little lighting chick, who's eating her morning snack. Today's adventure is, Mommy, tell us a story. So Mommy Piggy, she says, you want to hear stories before you go to bed? Piggly Wiggly Squiggly, Mama's tired. And Piggly says, just one story about me when I was a little boy. And Squiggly says, well, if you're going to tell a story about Piggly when he was a little boy, then I have to get a story too because I'm his brother. And I was a little boy one time too. And Squiggly says, don't leave me out, Mommy. I'm their triplet. I'm their brother. So I got to have a story too about me. And she says, oh, boys, whew, you're going to make Mommy Pig tired. And they said, no, you're not going to be tired because you're our mommy and we love you. So you're not going to be tired. Well, you know she was a little bit tired because you know she sews all the time. And that's how she makes all that money that she's got to spend on the piggies. Well, seems to be, she says, if I can remember right, she says, one time, she says, we were going to town. And you all were just little babies. You were about maybe 2 years old. So I had put Squiggly in the back seat and buckled him up in his car seat, and I put Wiggly in the back seat and I buckled him up, and I looked around, and Piggly, you were gone. And I thought, where has that little Piggly gone now? What am I going to do with that child? He's only 2 years old and he's already disappearing on me.
Oh, no.
Well, Piggly's laughing. He's just laughing. Oh, Mommy, that's so funny. That's so funny. Where'd I go, Mommy? And Mommy Piggy says, well, I went all through the house looking for you. And I went out on the screen porch. And I thought I heard a noise. And I went out the door. And I went around the corner, just like this, and there you were hunched over, sitting on the ground, behind the air conditioning, the great big air conditioning unit. You know what I found you doing? You had taken the film out of my camera, and you were going like this, woo, woo, woo. And that's why you 3 boys don't have any pictures when you were 2 years old and 1 year old.
Oh, no.
Because of Piggly. Whoa. Wiggly looked at Piggly, and Squiggly looked at Piggly. And they go, Piggly, tomorrow we're going to pay you back.
Oh, no.
Piggly says, what are you going to do to me? I don't know yet, but we're gonna whisper about it tomorrow morning after breakfast. We're going to figure out what we're going to do to you. Mommy Piggy says, now boys, just calm down and relax. But Mommy, that's important. You don't have any pictures of us when we were little. Well, I know, sweetheart, and it can't be helped. Of course, I think if you took him over to Farmer Brown's farm and hit him in the haystack, that might be a payback. So anyway, Wiggly says, okay, Mommy, tell me a story about me. And Mommy Piggy says, well, let me see. One time, I was driving the car to town, and I had a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Buick. Oh, it was so pretty. What's a Buick, Mommy? Well, it's a kind of a car. You know, it's like a Ford car, a Chevrolet car, a Buick car. Wow, we've never heard of that. It must be really fancy. Well, it was. It was real fancy. Well, what happened? And Mommy Piggy says, well, Wiggly, I let you sit in the front seat, and I wasn't supposed to. And I stopped real quick at the stop street, and you went, phew, and you hit your head on the dashboard, and you got cut. That's that cut right over your little eye right there. Oh, I wondered what that was. I saw that one time when I looked in the mirror real close. And I had to take you to the hospital, and they had to go bandage you all up. Wow. And Piggy says, wow, that was exciting.
Really?
And Wiggly says, oh boy, Mommy, I can't wait to hear you say what I did. Well, Wiggly, now, when you were little boys and girls, or not girls, I'm sorry, boys and girls, when you boys were little, Mommy was sitting in the kitchen, and I had just put all you boys to bed, and you were supposed to be asleep. I looked up, and I could see, if I turned my head, I could see into your bedroom. And Squiggly, what did I see? You were up on the end of the crib, laying on that little teeny bar, or the end of the crib. You were laying on that little ridge with your little hands like this, and your head on your hands, and your little feet crossed in the back. And you were laying there perfectly balanced on the end of the crib like this, and you were looking straight down the hall at Mommy. And Mommy looked right back at you. And then you didn't move, but Mommy moved. Mommy ran down the hall and spanked your little bottom. And Squiggly says, ooh, 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 ooh. And Mommy Piggy says, Wiggly and Piggly, you were asleep, thank goodness. Squiggly went to sleep about 2 minutes after I spanked him. Did we do anything else? Did we do anything else? And Mommy Piggy says, well, one time we went to Gatorland.
Gatorland?
And that's where all the alligators are. I don't know if it's still open or not. It burned one time. And so we had to walk on a bridge. And the alligators was flashing all around in the water, and sometimes the water came up between the boards. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And you boys were eating ice cream.
Oh, no.
And Mommy said, I said to you, boys, be careful, because don't let the water get on the ice cream. And you said, how come? We love this ice cream, Mommy. And I said, because the alligator water's getting on the ice cream. Oh! And you threw the ice cream in the water. Mommy Piggy said, Mommy Piggy said, that's about all I can think of, boys. Oh, Mommy, please. Want some more stories? And Mommy Piggy says, well, when you were real little, I used to sit in the rocking chair, and I used to hold all three of you at one time and read fairy tales and nursery rhymes to you. And they said, read us one now. And Mommy Piggy says, well, let's see. Jack Sprat and his wife.
Jack
Sprat-
Sprat could eat no fat.
That's right. Jack Sprat could eat no fat, and his wife could eat no lean. So between them both, they cleaned the platter clean.
Willie?
That's what... Piggly Wiggly and Squiggly looked at Mommy Pig and said, Mommy Pig, we don't understand that. And you read us when we were 2 and 3 years old. Yeah, I did. And so let's try another one now. Mary, Mary, quite so contrary, how does your garden grow? With cockle shells and...
Pretty bells.
How about...
Pretty bells and silver maids all in a row.
All right, you folks can fill the rest of it because Grandmommy's forgot. And Piggly Wiggly and Squiggly... Yeah, Piggly Wiggly and Squiggly says... Mommy, you don't remember the stories very well. Mommy says, I know I don't. I'm getting old. But I know one story.
Yay!
And they said, okay, let's try again. And Mommy Piggy says, Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. So anyway, Mommy Piggy says, okay, I think that you've exhausted me enough now, boys. My production crew is enjoying this immensely. So anyway, boys and girls, the next morning, the 3 little pigs got up, and they were so happy. They had the sweetest dreams last night, because Mommy had told them all these stories, and they went downstairs for breakfast, and so she decided to fix one of her special breakfasts.
Yummy.
She had a new recipe for oatmeal. She put brown sugar in it, like she always did, and she put raisins in it, and she put some pecans in it, and she put some strawberries in it. Oh my gracious sakes, this oatmeal was so good. The little lighting chick does not like that description of oatmeal. So anyway, they just ate this oatmeal, whether the lighting chick likes it or not. They're going to eat their bowl of oatmeal because they liked it. And then they said, what are we going to do today? And Piggly said, I'd like to hear more stories from Mommy. And Mommy said, well, I tell you what, after you went to bed last night, I went upstairs in the attic and I looked in that big box that says, Piggly Wiggly Squiggly Things. And I opened up the box, and you know what I found? I found the storybook that I used to read to you. So I'm going to read you a story. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Little Red Riding Hood. Now, how come they called her Little Red Riding Hood? Because she had a cloak that was red, and it had a little hood on it that was red. Oh, she looked so pretty. Her mama sent her to her grandma's house one day. And she had a basket of fruit to give to her grandma. So she goes off through the woods, and she's just singing and a happy hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. And here comes a big bad wolf. And Mommy Pig says, you know, that big bad wolf was probably Little Bad Wolf's great-great-grandfather. I don't know how come Little Bad Wolf is such a sweet little boy and so smart when his daddy and his granddaddy and his great-granddaddy were such big old poo-poops. They just were bad, bad, bad wolves. Well, he said, Little Red Riding Hood, stop. Where are you going? Little Red Riding Hood says, I'm going to see my grandma. And he says, you can't go see your grandma. Yes, I can too. Huh. And he goes off in the woods. And so she goes singing her song. And she knocked on her grandmama's door. And she says, come in. And so little Red Riding Hood went in. Hi, GrandMommy. And her grandmother says, hello, my child, how are you? And Little Red Riding Hood says, Little Red Riding Hood says, I am so good. I brought you a basket of fruit, Grandma. Oh, you did? Oh, thank you. Okay. Little Red Riding Hood says, okay, I love you, Grandma. I gotta go now. And she gave her a great big hug and a great big kiss. So off the door she goes. A little bit later, little Big Bad Wolf comes to the door, and he knocked on the door, and he banged on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. And she says, come in, Little Red Riding Hood. And he opened the door, and she goes, oh, you're not Little Red Riding Hood. You're the Big Bad Wolf. And he goes, yes, I am. And he threw her in the cupboard.
What?
So he got in her bed, because he knew that Little Red Riding Hood was going to come back because she forgot her basket. Because when he saw her, he peeked through the trees and he saw her, and she didn't have her basket with her. And he kind of jumped out and says, Little Red Riding Hood, where's your basket? I want to use it. I want to steal your basket from you. Oh, I don't have my basket. I need to go back to my grandmama's house. So he knew she was going to come back. So he climbed in the grandma's bed, and he put the grandma's little hat on that she sleeps in, and he pulls the covers all the way up to his neck, and she comes and she knocks on the door, and she says, Grandma, can I come back in? And the Big Bad Wolf says, yes, you can come back in, child.
Oh.
And Little Red Riding Hood says, she don't ever call me child, but I am a child. So she walks in the door, she goes in the bedroom, and she says, I just come from my basket, GrandMommy, because I left my basket here. I just came from my basket. And the Big Bad Wolf says, I put your basket over on the chair over there in the corner. And Little Red Riding Hood says, Grandma, what big eyes you have.
Uh-oh.
And the big Bad Wolf says, all the better to see you with, my dear. Ooh. GrandMommy, what big ears you have.
Uh-oh.
All the better to hear you with, my dear. And she says, but GrandMommy, I never noticed before. What big teeth you have. All the better to eat you with, my dear. And with that, the Big Bad Wolf jumped out of the bed. Oh, little Red Riding Hood, she grabbed that basket and she ran out that door, and she ran and she ran and she ran, and she hid behind a great big tree. And Big Bad Wolf was chasing her as fast as he could. And he ran and he ran and he ran and he ran right past that tree. And Little Red Riding Hood says, oh. And she crept out behind the tree and she went home the other way. Mr. Big Bad Wolf did not know that there was two ways to go to her house. And she went the secret way. Pajoom, pajoom. Well, that was the end of the story. She got home okay. Okay, boys and girls, this is enough. I thank you very much for tuning in. And hello to everybody. I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.